Phoenix South is a special community. It's got a history that is sometimes difficult, often joyous. There's a reason people don't move out. There's a reason people stay. The communities there have comprised the diversity of Phoenix, certainly in the 20th century, with Asian communities, African American communities, certainly Latino, Mexican American, Mexican communities, indigenous communities. There's a lot that has gone on there that has made what in Spanish we call a capirotada, a mixture, a pudding, a celebration of the best of everything we have put together. But as an adult, I've come to see that those things together mean something. They're the best of what we have, trying to work with the best of what we are. This project is going to show that, I think, to a community. In fact, I think, and this is the best public art, it's a community telling its own story to itself.
In all of the workshops that we did at the libraries, at Dunbar Elementary School, at Hope 6, at the Tamale Festival, we gathered phrases and poetry and the kind of walking stories.
And so with Aaron, we were using our urban planning. He was like, talk to me about your neighborhood in terms of its shape. Talk to me about it in terms of give it a color. And then we got into what is a superhero. If you could design a superhero that was going to help out your neighborhood, what would that superhero story be?
When Tentacle Tribe came in to work with students in Dunbar, it was really exciting to see the students that we had been working with enter into this space where they had the opportunity to really embody thoughts and ideas that they don't normally get to do in school, and watching them sort of really engage with these guest artists that we brought into the space and really begin to explore their own selves and their own bodies in ways that we hadn't seen them do before. It was really, really exciting to see. And I think that's the power of a project like Story Days, is to bring these alternative spaces into a set space like a school.
And you'll see, as it's mixed into the base, the smell of it is not going to be as strong. Can you still smell it? But it's really softened now that it's mixed in. So this was a very, very exciting opportunity for me to make a perfume that tried to capture a place. The place was South Phoenix because that was the home of our project. It was conversation with people that actually led to the idea of the perfume and doing a perfume. It wasn't an initial plan, but it rose out of the interactions that we were having in the community. Almost all of the materials that we used were things that were either wild harvested from the area, meaning that we went out and gathered things that were growing wildly, or they came from plants that we grew from seeds from a seed library that is either at Harmon or South Mountain. So everything that we used for our perfumes came from Phoenix South. All of it originated here. In making our perfumes, the first things that we looked at were, we wanted to capture those scents that people were telling us about in the community. So what was really interesting was going to different neighborhoods or different areas, and people in those areas all having a specific thing that they thought of. So one of the things that we made was a roasted coffee bean oil to use as a perfume, and that came from walking around a neighborhood with someone who has lived in the area for, his family has been in the area for 5 generations, and he said, as soon as I open the car door, I know I am home. Lemon. Lemon is going to be a top note. If someone wants to make something lighter and more cologne-y, Oh, see, that's nice. So go ahead and share that. One of the most wonderful aspects of the Story Days project for me is this ability that it has given us to go out into the community and to work with diverse populations. As teachers, we're always invested in lifelong learning, and the opportunity to work with both young children and senior citizens is a modeling of that commitment to lifelong learning. So yes, we can teach things to kids, and they are little sponges, that's true, who are ready to suck up new information and who are eager to learn new things. I don't know that we always think of our senior community as also being eager to continue to learn new things, but something that we have discovered and something that we hope that we're celebrating is that they are, that they have an amazing wealth of experiences to share with us, and we also potentially have new things that we can share with them.
But as musicians, you've taken something in the landscape, an idea, just something out there, and you made sound and song out of that. It's very impressive. When we explained this project, when I came in and was talking about different ways to see the world, how everything can have more than one way to be seen, I think about the community garden where there are tomatoes growing and there are rows, right? When you garden, if you've ever gardened, you know you make these little mounds, these rows, and imagine a couple of tomatoes placed appropriately and a photo of that, and those rows become the lines on the staff, and you play the tomatoes as notes. The kids at Dunbar, after talking this through and laying down the idea behind the project, started working on their own at making this happen. And so they had some cameras and they went around, they took photographs in their school community and then in just the periphery around the school. And so this was them. This was them. This was where they lived. It's how they lived and how they got through the day. And that was the essence of the art project as we presented it to these kids who just jumped on it. They got it. Making the connection in some way, they got.
We are trying to find music notes out of these pictures, and how we got these pictures was when we went outside at our school field, and then we took pictures of things that we thought that would be good for, you know, music notes. So
for example, this one with birds on it and they're on wires, and this one, and we get sheet music and we make lines on the paper like these.
And as they took those photographs and we started enlarging them, they started putting them onto music. They started transcribing, I would rather say translating, those things that they saw out in the world and now in some fashion embraced them, put them onto a page, and now started doing something with them that nobody had ever done before. Nobody had ever done this before.
Yeah, why do you think this project is very important to the community?
Because we need to start making music, and plus music is supposedly touches people's hearts and stuff, so yeah, making music is actually pretty fun and a good hobby, and plus and some people like it, so yeah.
We're going to put it onto a piano, we're going to put it onto something else, and we're going to make a different kind of noise, and we're trying to find some echo of that, some reflective sensibility that has been gifted to us by being there in that moment, and offer it up to ourselves as a community.
And this one was flower bush.
That's awesome. Do you think about those images when you're playing it, or are you more just focused on playing the notes?
I'm focused on playing it.
Yeah. That makes sense. Have you been playing piano for a long time, or are you just learning now?
No, I played piano outside school.
I felt very well received, and they were all really friendly and were excited to talk about the process that they used in writing their music. Well, I think getting to know them just made it more exciting for me in general to write the music and to sort of take all of their pieces and combine it to one, because now I had after getting to talk with them, I had a sense of who they were as people, and I could really, it felt like more of a personal experience for me. So it was just really a lot of fun, and it was more exciting that way. I think it gave me like just a deeper sort of connection to the piece in general. Yeah, I felt a lot of responsibility to make it great for them. This was a challenge because I had many pieces of unrelated music to sort of combine together, which really ended up not being as hard as I thought it was going to be. They sort of all flowed really nicely at the end of the day, which made my job really easy.
So tonight we're going to start with Amy Orozco. Amy is a 7th grader. Her song is titled YOLO. She chose that title because you only live once, and she wants to make the best of it. She said she feels like making a song is living the life the best that she can. The pictures Amy used were of balls, a djembe drum, the lines of the backstop of our school, and a statue of a girl with a moon and a picture of a flower.
Seeing the kids perform was awesome because there's a lot of memories that I have too of performing when I was younger, and I wish that I had been given the opportunity to perform something that I had written myself. I thought that was really cool. They were all excited and very nervous, so it was fun to be sort of wrapped up in that, and it felt really good to be able to play with all of them on stage too, and sort of just like that was just another thing that I thought the project was really great about, as far as keeping everybody connected and feeling like it was the performance was really fun. It was nice to have all the parents there, and it just felt like a really good sort of ending to my piece of the puzzle that I was able to contribute. I got to work with my close friend and musical collaborator, Dominic Armstrong, so that was just really fun to add another sort of layer to the song as well.
The Story Days project here is really great. The people here at the West Senior Center really bring a lot of energy, and so it's good to be able to have to match that energy this early in the morning, and then like make sure you as a person who's engaging with the community are actually involved more, and you have that energy to match the project that you're participating in. It was a project we started back in May of last year with a group of students from ASU, and we walked around the community. I think we walked around South Mountain and saw the Gregarias that Alberto Rios had put together for the project out at the South Mountain Library. And then it kind of expanded from there to include the children from Dunbar, who recently, back in this May of 2017, composed music based on images that they had taken throughout the community. So it's been a year-long project, and it keeps evolving past what the original idea was, which I think is the perfect attitude for a community project like this.
We're here with you this morning to play Lotteria and to tell you a little bit about a project that we've been doing for the last year. Charlie is handing out Lotteria cards to everyone. Who's familiar with Lotteria? If you look at the images on these Lotteria cards, they're not necessarily the traditional images from a Lotteria. All of these images come from Phoenix. And most of these images were taken by students at Dunbar Elementary School right up the street.
Here. Something that was really exciting for me to be able to share with them is where that Lotteria game that we were playing originated from. And where that game originated is with students right up the street. So I am so grateful for the ways in which this project brings together different communities within the community. I think that it was very exciting for the people at the Senior Center to look at the images on the Lotteria cards and recognize them, and then to know that these cards, that this had been designed for them and for the community by young members of the community just up the street.
I got one. Seeing the young kids who were kind of being forced to look at their community with a more artistic and critical eye, and then apply that to music. And then you see here, where people have been playing loteria since they were younger, to see it repurposed from the kids' vision of that card game. So I mean, it's interesting to see how art projects kind of take a mind of their own as they get a more, I guess, collaborational effect. So it's just beautiful to see different generations with different viewpoints on the art and the community and the culture that has inspired them since they were younger.
Our shadows make us twins. If every stone were the egg of something, who knows what kinds of things there'd be? Ocotillo and porcupine are cousins. Every Saturday is a mountain. Water is homeless. I can imagine cold, but I can imagine better things. Everything is brown. The mountains brown, the ground brown, the building brown. But there's a lot of surprise blue where you'd least expect it. In the late night, green is greenest against blue. There are about 100 colors of gray, and not all of them are sad or ugly. Pearls can be gray, rain can be gray, eyes can be gray. A cloud of stars, stones of a native land. Bees live in the walls of houses no one else lives in. We are the frontier, rough and ready, cactus and hubcaps. Clouds loaded to be broken smell like electricity and flat pennies. Moths made of dust, a woman in the branches. Heat has different specialties. Mojado, doble mojado. There was a river. You can see where it ran, still speaking every day. The horses could race the heat, leave with no luggage like birds in the night.